Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today's courtroom circus stars a mother who's used every emotional stunt she could to block her ex from seeing his children, all while forgetting one tiny little thing: evidence. Instead, she brought drama, telling the court she was too scared to be in the same room, too afraid to do an exchange at a police station, and too frightened to even breathe near her ex. Let's watch as the court rewards crocodile tears instead of demanding the truth.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
I believe we're ready to go on the record. Is everyone ready to proceed today?
Well, Your Honor, the case was reset from March
One
10th.
moment. Let me just
I'm
do
sorry.
recording.
Okay.
Okay, we're on the record and cause number 24 FD 1475. You may, which is the original petition and suit affecting the parent-child relationship filed July 22nd, 2024. The parties are Timmy Lundell Sykes and Deshunira Zayem Sykes. Okay, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes, Your Honor, the case was reset from March 10th till today for Ms. Sykes to produce any and all documents regarding the issue of possession and access, such as police reports, CPS reports. To date, said items have not been produced to the Attorney General or to Mr. Sykes or his counsel. Both parties have issues they want to bring before you. However, the Attorney General would need these documents in order to do a final order or modify this order in any way, because we need to establish these issues and allegations regarding possession and access. May I just turn it over to each attorney separately? So I'll turn it over to Mr. Stephen Harris.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
So just to recap how we got here, on 3/10/25, we had our hearing. I expressed that I had saw the previous hearing. I think that was done in February. The previous hearing had been recorded and was set on YouTube. In that hearing, Ms. Sykes had made a number of allegations against my client, basically boiling down to that he had sexually assaulted one of the children, and that is the reason why possession and access needed to be safeguarded for the children's safety. I asked at our hearing on 3/10/25 for her to provide proof, either through the way of police reports, CPS reports, because she had mentioned it all in her own words that she had those things in that YouTube video. She did not have the proof then. She did not have the proof on March 10th as asked, and she did not have the proof today. The court ordered that she bring all the documentation that she was relying on to this hearing today. I did not receive any notice. I did not receive any evidence. I did not receive anything. What I did receive was a slew of filings from her counsel yesterday. One of them all the way at 4:38 yesterday. A counter petition, and a slew of other documents without no notice, and still did not receive the evidence as was given and told on our 3/10/25 hearing. So I have an issue with that. So I don't know what is the proper procedure here. I don't know what the court would like to do, but if Ms. Sykes does not have the items that was told to her to have by today, then I would like to impose either orally right now that some kind of sanction be levied against her for this, because again, she had about 3 months to come up with this stuff, and we still don't have it.
And Ms. Valerio?
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Judge, so Lone Star Legal Aid has taken on representation of this case because of the allegations that Ms. Sykes brings. It is correct that we have not had proper time to get those documents before the court. And counsel is correct in that my filings were done as late as yesterday, only because we only took on this case on an emergency basis. If the court so deems it appropriate, we'd ask for a continuance of something like a month so that we can assist her with getting those documents. It is my understanding that in this case, there are temporary orders. Mr. Sykes has been court ordered to pay child support under those temporary orders. At this time, Ms. Sykes has not received anything in the form of payment. And in terms of imposing any type of sanctions, of course, I would be opposed to any kind of sanctions being imposed on my client, only because counsel himself has not filed anything that would grant the court the ability to sanction Ms. Sykes. We've had no notice of any sanction proceedings. So just to be fair to what was a pro se applicant up until very recently, I'd ask the court not to consider any kind of sanctions against the client. I will do my best to assist her on a short time frame to get the information that she feels is necessary in the best interest of her children.
If I may, Your Honor,
You may.
Ms. Sykes has had 4 months to get that same evidence. She filed the police report, according to her. She filed child support. She filed the CPS report. She is the person who is most available to get said documents without any help from the court at all. Since she is the one who filed, if she is the complainant, as she says, she's able to do that without anybody's help. She has not done that. It is unfair to my client that she gets to levy these kind of accusations. It's in the public domain now, not by the court's hand, but by some third party's hand, that these allegations are out there. My client is a veteran. He has worked his entire adult life. He has served our country, and those kind of allegations really put a stain on somebody like that. That is unfair. And for her to get another continuance, I will be opposed to that because she got this continuance. This is why we're here today. So I will be opposed to get another continuance so that she can get some documents she was supposed to get 4 months ago.
Okay. I will say Ms. Sykes knew she was supposed to provide documents today, and she knows that these allegations are serious. And I as a court, I do want to hear proof. These are very serious allegations. I'm concerned for the child. I'm concerned for Mr. Sykes if they're not real. I'm concerned for the child if they're not real. I'm concerned for everybody. Why no documents have been produced, why no documents are available today, I don't understand, and I am very concerned about that. That being said, I do not have authority to just sanction people without proper pleadings, without notice to Ms. Valerio, and without a chance for people to respond. So at this point, I'm not sanctioning. I will let everyone know I'm disappointed and concerned. I do see, though, that Ms. Valerio was just hired or brought on recently, and I do appreciate that. And I do think it's good that there's now attorneys in this case, given the seriousness of these allegations. So I am going to give a continuance. However, I am concerned that Mr. Sykes has no visitation. That there are temporary orders in place, but those temporary orders have no visitation because of the allegations, which have not really been proven and are now being disputed. And so, Ms. Valerio, is there any way, I don't know if you've talked to Ms. Sykes about this yet, putting some visitation in place so that Mr. Sykes has something? I'm concerned about delaying this all the longer and leaving him with no visitation still, because it has been months. And Ms. Sykes did say she would bring documents today. And it's not fair for the child and Mr. Sykes to possibly suffer because Ms. Sykes is not producing information. That concerns me.
So, Judge, if I could be allowed to move into one of the break rooms with the client and discuss the issue of possession or access to the child. The children are 5 and 2. The 5-year-old is severely autistic. In addition to, this is just not a normal case.
Objection to the sidebar. Can you discuss it with her in private or?
Well, absolutely. That's what I've asked. If I could be allowed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to overrule the objection. I don't believe that was a sidebar comment. But yes, I'm going to give everyone a chance to go back to the breakout rooms and discuss visitation. Hopefully you can all come to something. And then let's pick a reset date. Although if you do not come to something, you're all going to need to come back out and probably have a quick hearing, not be quick, on visitation issues, because we need to do something.
Yes, and Judge, may I just ask this also? In one way or the other, we're still going to need addresses to serve as well.
Miss Valeria, in light of the issues in the case, are you willing to accept service for your client so she doesn't have to provide her address?
For this case, yes. If he's attempting any kind of other case, I'm not allowed to take on several cases at one time.
Fair enough. Does that make sense, Mr. Harris?
Yes, because I will be modifying. So yes.
I'm of record on this Attorney General matter. No problem. You can send those to me.
Okay.
Okay, will do.
Will that work, Mr. Harris?
Yes, that'll work.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna stop the recording for now and let you all go back to the breakout rooms. Mr. Hernandez, if you need help picking a date or if you need me to participate in ordering visitation, just let me know. Or if any other issue comes up that you need me for. 1475. I'm not sure if I swore them in earlier. So let me do that again. This is the Sykes case with the original petition and suit affecting the parent-child relationship, filed July 22nd, 2024. Mr. Sykes, can you state your name for the record, please?
Timmy Blundell Sykes.
Thank you. And Ms. Sykes, can you state your name for the record, please?
Dejanira Zaim Sykes.
Thank you. And can you both please raise your right hands to be sworn in? Do you each solemnly swear that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can lower your hands. And counsel for the parties remains the same. Ms. Sykes is represented by Ms. Valeria with Lone Star Legal Aid, and Mr. Sykes is represented by Mr. Stephen Harris. Mr. Hernandez, where are we on this?
There's no agreement for possession and access. So I guess we're here for a hearing on possession and access. That's it. Unless, yes. Okay. So I will call Mr. Sykes to testify. Mr. Sykes, what are the names of your children in this case?
The name of the children is Zion Wesley Sykes and Zaire Israel Sykes.
And when did Miss Sykes, I guess, take the children from you?
Well, in April of 23, I separated myself from the marriage and moved out of the house in April of 2023.
And where were y'all living at that time?
Living on Duro in Lamarck, Texas, and I moved to Galveston, Texas.
And at that time, were you and Miss Sykes equally sharing the children?
Yes.
And
Where is Duro, Texas?
Duro Street in Lamarck, Texas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so at that time you were seeing the children, is that correct?
Oh, I was kind of seeing them, at whenever she would allow me to see them. And then the last time I seen the kids was in July of 23, around her birthday. Her birthday was July 7th. So around that time period was the last time I seen the children.
And where did Miss Sykes go with the children?
Well, she stayed at the house on Duro, and I continued to pay everything there, support the whole household, rent and everything, and she was there. She just, what made me leave, the allegation of, when I told her I was going to get custody of my boys, she came up with an allegation that I touched Zion inappropriately.
And Were the police ever called to talk to you about this allegation?
Absolutely not.
Was CPS ever contacted to talk to you about this allegation?
Absolutely not, attorney.
Okay, and then so since then, have you had any type of communication with Miss Sykes, like email or phone calls, any kind?
I attempted to reach out for the sake of, like Christmas. I got the boy. I still got Christmas stuff here at my house from this year. Last year, Christmas, I took toys to her former workplace to drop them off because when she made that allegation, she started sharing that with my family and church members and people like that. And they all know me. I've been in a law enforcement career. And so never been arrested or anything. She made those allegations under the advisement of my attorney. I did not want to go around her for her to continue these malicious, defamation allegations against me.
And are you asking the court today to allow you possession and access or visitation of your boys?
Absolutely. It's been 2 years almost.
And are you asking for the standard schedule, which would be first, third, and fifth weekend of every month, and extended time in the summer with the boys?
Absolutely.
And are you also asking for any FaceTime with the boys when they're not with you?
Absolutely. And I definitely.
And are you asking for a neutral location for you to exchange the children, either a police station or maybe a Starbucks or something like that?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you still reside in Galveston County?
I live in Texas City now.
All right. Pass this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Harris, do you have questions for your client?
I have no questions for my client.
Okay, Ms. Valero, do you have any questions? Valerio, I'm sorry.
Yes, Judge. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, have you had an opportunity to review the pleadings filed by Ms. Sykes?
Absolutely not. No, ma'am.
Are you stated that you separated in July of 23, is that correct?
Yes. No, I separated in April. I moved out and moved into an apartment in Galveston.
Okay. And your wife states you physically separated in September. Is that incorrect according to you?
Of course it is. I have a documented release to prove that I got an apartment, garage apartment in Galveston.
Okay. So either way, your allegation is you haven't seen these children since July.
Around her birthday period, yes. And I attempted to try to get to see them, but she was just being a difficult person.
Okay, what documented attempts have you made to see those children?
I texted, I called until I was blocked and asking, begging, could I see my boys? Told her I had birthday gifts, I had Christmas gifts, everything. And to no avail, it got to the point where when she started making the allegations, I said, I'm going to back away from this. I hired an attorney for the divorce. And he
Are you all
came to.
divorced?
I'm sorry?
Are you all, he just said he hired an attorney for a divorce. Are you all divorced, in the middle of a divorce?
No, Your Honor. I'm representing him on that as well. That's another part of the problem. We have no way to serve her. We have not been able to get her served or anything because we have no idea where she lives or anything like that.
File, but no service.
Correct.
Okay. And at this point, Judge, I wasn't even aware there was a divorce on file.
And I was not either. Okay.
Okay.
I understand.
So, however, you didn't reach out to the Office of the Attorney General back in July of 23 to initiate child support proceedings, did you?
Objection, irrelevant.
It goes to the issue of asking for some type of order if he alleges that
Objection, irrelevant. Objection, irrelevant. He doesn't have to come to us. We offer a service. We don't represent parties. It's irrelevant.
Judge, are you ruling or, I'm sorry.
I'm overruling her objection. You can answer, Mr. Sykes.
So I went online, Your Honor, and attorney, to try to set up my own child support to support my children. And it stopped me because I think she had a filing. So it wouldn't allow two child support orders online. I went online to do that, to try to set up some support for my boys. I did that online.
You stated that you moved to your current address from Duro to Texas
Okay.
City.
Man, that's not what I said. I said I
Okay,
moved
let
to
me
Dallas.
rephrase it. Okay, so let me ask you in another way, okay? So you said you moved out of the Duro address in
Correct.
Lamar.
Correct.
Did you go immediately to Texas City?
No, ma'am. I moved
Okay.
from Duro.
Objection non-responsive after no, ma'am.
Sustained. Sir, just listen to the questions and answer just the questions. Your attorney can come back up if he wants and clean anything up he thinks needs cleaning. Some things don't need cleaning. And your attorney will decide that.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Sir, did Ms. Sykes change her phone number since July of 2023? Yes or no?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. You just testified to this court that you attempted to reach out to her. So did you get a phone number stating that it was no longer Ms. Sykes?
It was going to, I was never able to reach her on that number, so I don't know.
Did Ms. Sykes change her email address since your separation?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. When was the last time you attempted to physically see your children or make your last request?
It was almost 2 years ago, so I don't really recall a date. It was almost 2 years ago.
Sir, when did you file a divorce?
My attorney has it on record. I'm not sure.
Okay. Was it 2024?
I'm not sure. But my attorney has the date.
When did you hire an attorney, sir?
Maybe almost a year ago, or 8 months ago. I'm not sure.
Okay. So how old are your children?
Zaire will be 2 years old on May 8th. And Zion was born in 2019. So he's 5 years old.
All right. So these children at the time of your separation were 3 and just months from birth. Is that correct?
3.5 and 4 months old.
Okay. And your baby doesn't know you at all. You are a complete stranger to this baby, correct?
I wouldn't say I'm a complete stranger. I mean, I spent that whole 4 months, with him in my presence, calling, holding. So I wouldn't say I'm a complete stranger.
Okay. Your 5-year-old is an autistic child. Is that correct?
That I know of, to the degree that I was there in the process of us trying to get that established. I'm not sure how doctors, ruled on that matter.
Okay. Is he verbal?
He wasn't when I was last in his life.
Now, you understand that your spouse filed allegations of sexual assault, and the allegation is that you are the perpetrator.
Objection.
Objection. What is going?
Assuming facts not in evidence, and where are these allegations?
Yeah, what's been filed? We don't know about the divorce, and I don't know of anything filed about sexual assault.
Okay.
Sexual assault allegations been filed somewhere by somebody?
Okay, Judge, I'm going on what he testified just a couple of minutes ago. He brought up the issue that she had made allegations against him.
Okay, so I think
Correct, but allegations are not found.
Yeah, I'm not sure. To my knowledge, nothing's been filed, but if something has been filed, I do want to know about it.
Your Honor, may I interject?
No, you may not.
Objection to this, objection.
Sustained.
Okay, I'll rephrase.
Okay.
Sir, you testified that your wife had brought up allegations of sexual assault.
No,
Is
no,
that-
I never.
No.
Objection mischaracterizes what he said. He didn't say that. Objection mischaracterizes what he said. He said wife accused him and alleged that he was improper with the child. He didn't say where she alleged that to or who, other than church people. So you're mischaracterizing the testimony.
Okay,
Sustained.
so what is it that she allegedly accused you of, sir?
Ma'am, when she reached out to my family, sisters, nieces, and a few of my church people, and she told me after I made the statement I was going to get custody of my boys, she said she called me a molester and said that I inappropriately touched Zion. It's absolutely not true.
And as of yet, you allege you have not been contacted by law enforcement.
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
No, ma'am. I've not been contacted by any law enforcement, CPS, or anybody.
Are you aware that there is a CPS investigation on file?
Objection calls for speculation. Ms. Sykes brought nothing.
Overruled. She's asking if he knows about it. That doesn't speculate anything.
I'm not aware of any CPS investigation. What I am aware of, there was a previous CPS call made from my aunt on her, and they reached out to me on that matter.
Objection,
That's it.
non-responsive. After,
Overruled.
I'm not aware.
Overruled.
Now, is it your testimony that you're asking this court for what is known as a standard possession order?
Whatever the OAG mentioned in the visitation is what I agreed to. So whatever that language is what I'm asking for visitation.
Let me clarify, just so that we're all speaking the same language. The Office of the Attorney General asked you if you were asking for basically first, third, and fifth. You 30 days in the summer and you alternate the major holidays. Was that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. However, you've never taken care of the children by yourself, have you?
What do you mean taking care? Yeah, while we were married, yes, she worked at times, and I've helped raise the children, and I have other children.
And you have taken care of the baby by yourself?
Ma'am, I have 3 other children, and yes, I have taken care of the baby. I've taken care of the baby by himself during that 4-month period.
But you haven't seen these children for 2 years.
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
So you don't believe that it would be better to introduce or reintroduce yourself into the children's lives instead of just taking them on first, third, and fifth weekend, 30 days in the summer, alternating holidays?
Absolutely not. I don't have to be taught how to be a father.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled the relevancy objection. I'm overruling Ms. Valeria's objection.
Okay. Sir, at a prior Attorney General hearing, isn't it true that you questioned the paternity of your youngest child to this
Objection,
Ob-
irrelevant.
judge? It's very relevant if he doesn't know if he's the child or questions whether he is the parent of a child, whether a child should be allowed
Objection,
to
Your Honor.
present-
The issue before the court is possession and access. The children are born of the marriage, and I wasn't privy to any prior dealings. My understanding is this issue is for possession and access. If Miss Sykes doesn't believe he's the father, that's her problem. But these children are born of the marriage, and the issue is possession and access.
I will say, I was here for the hearing, and he did ask for DNA, but then he withdrew the request. So I'm aware of Ms. Valeria.
All right. So, and Judge, just for the sake of professionalism, I was in the middle of my explanation and she overrode me in talking, and I just would really appreciate, I understand we get excited in these hearings.
Valerio, you're breaking up your internet. I can't tell when you're through talking. You're very, very sketchy, and I think you stopped, and then it staggers, and then it comes back. So I'm not doing anything intentional. I can't. You keep breaking up. It's hard to tell when you're done and not done. I apologize, but it's your connection.
Okay.
Okay.
And thank you, Ms. Hernandez, but just be mindful and everyone try not to step on anyone. I know that this is a heated hearing.
Judge, and just so you'll know, I'll speak louder. It is really storming
It's bad
here.
weather, yes.
And
Yeah.
I'll do my best. I just hate to sound like an idiot, like I'm screaming.
No, you sound fine. And yeah,
Or
with
not.
Zoom, speak up. And we all know that the weather is horrible today.
Give me a second. I lost
Okay,
my
no
train
worries.
of thought. Okay. You understand that your autistic child is nonverbal, correct?
As I said before, I wasn't aware that he was documented from a doctor as being autistic. When I left the relationship at that point, I hadn't got a ruling from a medical doctor. We were in the process of that. So that's what I said.
Okay, let me ask this question another way. The last time you had interaction with your oldest child, he was nonverbal.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And obviously, your baby, it barely talks, correct?
Objections calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Do you really believe that having a standard possession order with these children is in their best interest?
Yes,
Do you believe that FaceTiming with these children is in their best interest?
absolutely.
Okay. Do you work, sir?
I do.
Who do you work for?
Gulf Coast Transit District.
I'm sorry, I heard the last part. Gulf Coast Transit
District.
Okay. Do you also minister or pastor at Gethsemane Missionary Baptist?
I'm one of the preachers there. Yes.
And is that typically a weekend job?
Not a job. It's a calling that I'm anointed to.
Is that a weekend, I hate to call it obligation, but a weekend duty?
It's not a duty. It's a calling. I don't know how you would classify it.
Okay. What are your working hours, sir, for Gulf Coast Transit District?
8 to 5, Monday through Friday, with some weekend expectations.
Is there a preset schedule on those weekend expectations?
No, because I can decline them at my leisure. I'm public affairs manager.
Okay. The calling at Gethsemane Baptist, is that every weekend?
Do I have to answer about my religion?
Yes,
Honor?
sir. Yes.
It's I go to church every Sunday and most Wednesdays, Bible study.
That's more than she asked. She's asking, is your calling on most weekends? Yes or no question?
Yes. Every Sunday, yes.
Okay.
You understand there is a temporary order from this court before today's hearing?
Hey, I'm not sure. I haven't received a temporary order.
Okay. You haven't received a copy from your attorney?
Objection, calls for attorney-client privilege violation.
Judge, I'm not asking him about communications regarding him and his lawyer. I'm just simply asking him if his lawyer's giving him a copy of the prior court order.
And that's a communication.
Okay, sir, you were here at a hearing. We had a hearing last time.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Okay. I'm familiar that there is a temporary order in place. Yes, we went over that entire hearing.
Thank you.
All right. And have you made any child support payments under that court order?
I have not.
Okay. I have no further questions, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Hernandez, do you have anything further for Mr. Sykes?
Yes, briefly. Mr. Sykes, have you been able to put both children on your CHAMPS VA insurance?
Only Zion is on there because I don't have Zaire's social security. I have his birth certificate, but I need his social security number.
Are you asking the court to have perhaps attorney Miss Valerio give your attorney the social security number for your youngest child so you can comply with the temp order to put him on your CHAMPS VA insurance?
Because the VA is waiting. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I'm so confused. I feel like we've had a few hearings lately where insurance doesn't happen, but I thought the AG's office sent a national medical support notice to all these companies and that they then have to follow that national medical support notice.
Well, to enroll the younger child in his VA through the federal government, he needs a social security number, and we can't give that out. I don't know.
I'm not asking for that. My question to you was, do you still send national medical support notices? Because you can
Not that I know of. I don't know what that is, Your Honor. So I can't testify. We do or don't. I've never done that, so I don't know what that is.
It's a system generated document, and usually when you're not with the AG's office, the attorney files one and sends it to the company.
I've never done one. I have no idea what that is. I've never have. So I'm not saying we do or don't.
Judge, if I may interject, did they do a withholding order? It would have the same information.
It wouldn't have the child's social security number on a withholding order. And even if it wouldn't have the child's withholding, it wouldn't, and that wouldn't go to the VA because he doesn't work for the VA.
But he gets benefits from the VA.
We don't.
I'm not making that an issue to you. I'm just saying there's different funding sources.
Listen, we don't give out social security numbers here. If he needs it, that's between the attorneys. I'm just asking him if he's been able to do that, and he said he hasn't. So, you know, that's between y'all private attorneys. I'm not giving out any social. We don't give out social security numbers here. Nothing further. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Harris, do you have any further questions for your client?
Yes, I just want to clear up a couple of things. So dates and times will work. Mr. Sykes, for the record again, tell us where did you move after you left the Lamarck address?
I moved to a garage apartment off of 39th Street in Galveston, Texas.
Okay, so it was in Galveston.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You also mentioned that you tried to contact her, Ms. Sykes, a couple of times, and then you believe that you were blocked, and you believe that you were blocked for what reason? Why did you think that?
Objection. That wasn't testimony, or it's a misrepresentation of the testimony.
Okay.
Sustained.
Okay. How? Tell us, how did you try to contact Miss Sykes?
I tried to call and I tried to text and to no response.
Okay. When you tried to call, was it picking up or did it go straight to voicemail?
Straight to voicemail.
Okay. And when you sent text, did you ever receive a response for those text messages?
It's that to stop texting and calling, or she would notify the police.
Okay. So after you received that response, you stopped trying to contact her through phone calls and text messages.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she mentioned there was some time spent on your work. So according to your testimony, your calling has you go to your place of worship. Do you have a support system, sisters, aunts, or people who can, while you are ministering to certain individuals, that could look after the boys while that's going on until you can get back to the kids?
I have a large family. I have 2 sisters and a large family, lots of nieces, nephews. And then I have a system. If I go to church with my boys, they will be cared for. And we have children there and a children's ministry. Okay.
All right. And that is on the same location as where you will be?
Yes.
And how long is church service?
We start at 11. We're out by 12:30.
Okay, so just an hour and a half. And in that hour and a half, the kids will probably be in a children's ministry while you're
in the same sense. So my eyes would be on them. They'd be in a sanctuary, but they will be sitting and sectionalized with the children and interacting.
Okay. And let me just to be clear, to reiterate, according to your testimony, you moved out in 2023. It is now 2025, and you have not seen your children.
Since 2023. Yes.
And by seeing, I mean you have not physically touched them, held them, or even FaceTimed them since 2023, and it is now 2025.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions.
Ms. Valeria, do you have any further questions of Mr. Sykes?
Nothing further of him.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hernandez, do you want to call your next witness?
I'll call Ms. Sykes. Ms. Sykes, are you in agreement or disagreement with Mr. Sykes having possession and access, or what's called visitation, with the children?
Disagreement.
And why?
It's very simple. He was molesting Zion. It's just very hard for me. It's emotional for me. I had to run for my life, literally. I got him out of the house. Well, he went and he got that apartment, and he snuck and got the apartment. I didn't know about it in April. He did get an apartment. He snuck and got an apartment, and I found out by a church member that he had gotten an apartment. At that point, we were still in the marriage, still working things out. I would be at the apartment with the children. And
okay, objection. Let me rephrase. How do you know he was molesting your older son?
Several things had happened. I was in the bed sleep one day, and I caught him doing something to Zion, and I thought it was inappropriate. And,
okay, ma'am, Miss Sykes, you're gonna have to be explicit. I can't guess. There's no police reports. These are serious. I'm sorry,
well,
but
to be honest with you, there is an open, ongoing investigation with CPS right now. And
Objection. Assuming facts not in evidence. No documents have been produced. I'm going to ask that. Objection. There has nothing been produced. And I'm going to ask that Ms. Sykes be precluded from mentioning such documents, that she shouldn't have the benefit of testifying to something she's refused to produce for 4 months.
Judge, I'm going to object to the characterization. I don't understand the Office of the Attorney General's position in being so adversarial to Ms. Sykes. I mean, I could understand Mr. Harris but not the OAG. But my point here is she's got to allow her to finish her statement before she runs one objection over another.
And
She's
Your
trying
Honor,
to
may I please,
explain.
Your Honor, the Attorney General's office will not, the Attorney General's
Let her finish. Let Ms. Valerio finish, please.
question
Okay,
withdrawn, question, I'll withdraw the question and pass the witness.
Okay.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Valerio, is there anything additional you'd like to say?
Yes, Judge.
It's
Thank
not
you.
your witness. She's not, I think Ms. Valerio is asking her questions right now. Isn't that true?
Okay.
No.
No,
Oh,
just
no,
briefly,
right.
Miss Valerio, you have to understand, the Attorney General's office cannot be a party willing or unwilling to alleged defamation and slander. I have to protect this office. If your
I'm sorry.
client,
Again, mischaracterization. I think
Okay.
you're over.
Okay, it's whether she's over or not. Like, what I would like to say is these are, and I think I've said this numerous times, these are very serious allegations. And if there are investigations or police records or anything, I do want to see them, because what you're requesting is that this man not see his child because of this. And I've gotten very little, and I'm curious to see what your client has to testify to, because this is the chance to put on evidence. But I agree, if there is an open investigation with CPS, I mean, these are 2-year-old allegations. Like,
Right.
why don't I have a CPS investigator here talking, or at least saying something? Or maybe this hearing is inappropriate if it's still being investigated. I guess I don't have enough to know what's happening here, and I'm concerned about that. Let me say that.
Okay.
And these are very serious allegations. I'm hearing them
This
in
is
court.
great.
I'm not even sure I should be, because again, this is a lot. But the lack of information, I don't even feel comfortable sending it to the referring court, because there's nothing right now, and so I am concerned with that. But I want to hear her evidence. I'm curious what is happening here.
Okay, Judge, for the record, and as stated previously, I was hired and took on this case less than 2 weeks ago. Okay.
And I understand that.
I again understand the court's position. I understand the OAG, because I was not a party to this prior to today. Okay. I cannot provide what the OAG is asking from my client. She did what she thought she could do as a pro se applicant. Now, I'm trying to present what she has today, which is her testimony, and then the court can weigh her testimony in its decision making for any kind of access or possession. I just beg the court's indulgence in proceeding with her questions. And by the way, I wasn't even questioning. I think the OAG had begun the process.
Yeah, I think Mr. Hernandez had started the questioning. But trust me, I'm not excited about hearing the details here, but without them, it's a very elusive allegation. I don't even know how they respond if they don't know what the allegation is.
And Your Honor, my only concern, because again, I mentioned this in the last hearing and I'm gonna mention it again today. These allegations that she keeps on spreading with them, calling them a molester and inappropriate touching of a child, that was already said in another hearing that was clipped and put onto YouTube, which has an immediate effect on my client. So yes, I too want to see this evidence, but that's why we're here today again, because she was supposed to supply it, and I am going to be. I will not be in a happy mood for her to keep using those terms and that language, knowing that the evidence that was required of her is not here. And so she will be alluding to things that have already been clipped and put into public domain, and she did not provide no proof again. So I will object every single time she says that word.
If I may ask,
because this is not right. I'm sorry.
And I was hoping you would all reach something in the back, because not have to have this broadcast again.
Well, opposing counsel and I have had no communications, Judge. Prior to yesterday, he wasn't even aware I was on this case.
And I understand it's a very last minute appearance, and I appreciate
to my knowledge, he's of record. But I actually couldn't find his information online. I had to go through the reset notice. That's the only place I saw your name.
Well, yeah, my information should be accessible on the state bar website.
No, not that. I'm talking about your contact info to
Oh,
let you notice. That's a whole other story. But that I didn't know you
but yes, I do have the YouTube, and I can share it with you, counsel, as soon as we get off this. I do have the YouTube clip in its entirety. So the hearing from from where she said this stuff 2 months ago is in that YouTube clip, and it's in full glory. And then she repeated it in March, and now she's repeating it again. And she did not bring the stuff that she was supposed to in order to back up these frivolous claims, and I don't stand for it.
Well, and I understand your position advocating on behalf of your client. Judge, if I could proceed with questioning of my client?
You may proceed with questioning of your client.
I didn't get a chance to talk.
Ma'am,
Okay.
it's not your turn to talk. You're here to answer questions. People should not be making commentary. This is a hearing. And I wish this hearing was live because I hate that this is on YouTube again. But if everyone can stay professional and appropriate, let's be respectful of the court system and let's try and get through this.
Ms. Sykes, thank you. Ms. Sykes, do you believe it's in the best interest of your children that Mr. Sykes get a standard possession order?
Not in the best interest of the children.
Okay. How much contact do your children had for the last 2 years with their father?
Zero contact.
You heard the testimony here that Mr. Sykes has repeatedly contacted you either by phone calls or texting. Is that correct?
Yeah, he did contact me by phone, message, and texting several times to try to resolve our marriage.
Did the phone calls, messaging, or texting relate to visitation of the children?
No.
Okay. You heard his testimony regarding when he separated from you was April of 2023. Is that date correct?
No.
Okay. When do you assert that your separation took place?
September of 2023.
Okay. And just to be clear, is that because prior to September of 23, you guys were physically in the same place?
No, he snuck out and got an apartment in April. I found out by a church member who contacted me and let me know he had got an apartment. But at that point, we were still working on the marriage and we were still visiting each other. He was still coming to the house on Duro Road, and I was still going to the apartment that he had in Galveston with the children. And we would actually stay over there at the apartment. So we were still in our marriage until September of 2023.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you some questions with very limited time frame. Between April of 23, when you state he got the apartment, and September of 23, you had no concerns regarding your children's safety or well-being being around Mr. Sykes?
No, not at that time. Not
Okay.
at that time. I had suspicions of other situations that I had seen in the past that I was
Objection.
concerned about, but not my particular
Objection.
children. No.
Sustained, you answered the question, ma'am, and then continued.
All right. Now, between April of 23 and September of 23, when you state you separated physically, was he a hands-on father to your children?
Not at all. I had to always beg him to do things for the children. He didn't attend doctor's appointments. You had to beg him to go to the school to pick up Zion whenever there was times he needed to be picked up. He would ask other people to go pick up the kids when he was available to go pick up the children. And at that point, I just intervened and said, no, I'll go pick up my own child if that's the case. He never attended not one doctor's appointment for Zaire at all. Zaire does not know him. Zion does not know him anymore. They haven't seen him. I had to obviously get my kids in a safe place and myself in a safe place.
Okay.
Yes.
And okay, we're only talking about the very small period of time that I was
Okay.
asking you about. Okay.
Okay.
Did you at any time after July, I'm sorry, strike that. Did you at any time after September of 23 block Mr. Sykes from communicating with you?
I did.
Okay. And why did you feel that was necessary?
For our safety. I mean, calling to try to resolve our marriage when when I know good and well what was going on with my child and trying to communicate with me, I left for safety, for safety for me and my children.
Okay. Do you have you were here at a prior hearing. Do you have those did strike that? You state that you filed a CPS request for investigation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You were at a prior hearing where I believe this court asked you to provide those documents, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What was the outcome of you trying to obtain those records when you were trying to do it on your own?
Yes. CPS let me know that the case is open and it's ongoing. And when it's open and ongoing,
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
open and ongoing. I called
Can you,
CPS directly.
Can you stop
they-
talking? Ma'am, when you hear the lawyer say objection, you need to stop talking.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Mr. Harris, if you can reiterate that.
Objection, hearsay.
And Mr. Valerio?
My question was, what was the outcome of her attempt?
And she went on to explain what CPS said and did not say, and they're not here. No representative from them are here.
I'm going to overrule the objection, but I'm only giving you a little bit of leeway with this one, Ms. Valerio, because it is hearsay.
Okay. What were you basically told? You don't have to say they told me this, but what was the outcome?
The outcome is that the case is open and they're investigating it.
Did they tell you that were you given the records for this hearing?
It's still open, so no records are.
Ms. Valero, just so that this is clear to everybody. The reset order did say documentation to present to the court in a hearing for the issue of possession and access. I do want to say that my notes, and I do remember saying this because I say this a lot, was that it was reset for her to both get witnesses and discovery. So witnesses she knew were allowed as well. You may proceed.
Okay. And you came to get a representative approximately 2 weeks ago, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are you asking this court to grant you some time now that you are represented to obtain those documents?
Yes.
Okay. Did you
do you have a proposal for visitation, Ms. Valerio, or are you all saying no visitation? Because I intended this kind of Band-Aid, give you all time to get some discovery. This is not, I'm not thinking this is going to be the final visitation for anybody. But do you have a proposal?
the only proposal I can give this court, Judge, is I do not.
Okay, you can proceed.
Do you believe it's in your child's best interest to be allowed to see their father at this time?
I do not.
Okay. Do you understand what this looks like, that he hasn't seen his children in almost 2 years?
I have to protect my children. Absolutely. I know what it looks like, but I have to protect my children first.
Your Honor. Objection. It's that statement again. I'm gonna have to object every time I hear it because it assumes
Well, let's move on.
facts not in evidence.
May I proceed, Judge?
You may, yeah, you may proceed.
Okay. Last couple of questions. Do you believe that FaceTime with either of the children is possible?
FaceTime is possible. I'm just concerned about Zion's emotional state, though. I don't know how he would react because he doesn't know him anymore. He's a stranger to him. Zaire definitely doesn't know him. They've been happy and thriving so far. I don't want to disrupt my children.
Okay. I believe it was opposing counsel who suggested if the court does order any kind of possession or access, that a neutral location would be useful for a exchange. Is that a possibility for you?
I don't have a trust in him. I'm scared to go near him, and I don't feel comfortable being in his presence. That's why I told the court I gave him the information where I want my address to be. I don't trust him. I'm scared. So no, I don't feel comfortable.
And just to be clear, you've asked of you this court to have a non-disclosure of any future addresses.
Yes.
Okay. Lastly, have you received any type of child support payments from the temporary orders?
Nothing at all for the past 2 years.
I have nothing further of this witness, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Harris, do you have questions?
Yes. What date did you contact CPS?
I contacted them numerous times. The first time I contacted CPS, well, actually, let's see. Our last hearing, I contacted them. I believe it was March 7th was the last time I contacted them. Before then, it was probably like a year ago.
Okay. So March 7th was 3 days before our March 10th date.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's when
Then
you
it was March 10th. I talked to them March 10th. I apologize.
So you talked to them on March 10th, the same date we had a hearing.
Correct.
And what was the purpose of that call?
To make sure that if anything happened, because they told me, well, I can't say what they told me, right?
Correct.
So the purpose
You just called them on that day.
So the purpose was to protect my children. That was the purpose of the call, to protect my kids.
Okay, let me rephrase. You called them on the same date the judge ordered you to bring documents. Is that correct?
Is that the same date? No,
That's the same date.
That would have been later though, because I talked to them before court, not after.
Okay, court was on March 10th. The last hearing was March 10th. So did you contact them 2 days before, 3 days before?
Well, I'm gonna give you
a month before.
I'm gonna give you an approximation. So the approximation is that I remember when we had court, I called them and spoke to them the same day. Okay, so that's
March 10th.
I don't know the approximate time, but I did speak with them, absolutely, and that's on record.
Was it before the hearing or after the hearing?
I believe I called before the hearing. I believe I talked to them, but I'm not 100% sure, but I believe I called before the hearing and they told me particular things. I'm not going to say because I know I'm not allowed to, but yes, I talked to them, I believe, before the hearing.
Okay. But you made your initial outcry to CPS, you're saying a year ago.
It was I guess it was about a year or so ago. I mean, I had mentioned it before though to them when they had.
No. I'm just asking when did you call to make your outcry? Is that a year ago? Is that your testimony?
About a year ago. I don't know the particular exact date. I would have to look that up, but I'm giving you an approximation.
Okay, then I'll give you some time to look that up.
Okay, well, let me see. I can probably find it because it's all documented. And they have an actual, do you need the incident report as well?
We would love that.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, so then you can, because there's incident report. Okay, so the CPS report number is the ID number is 795-26129.
And what's the date on that?
I don't have the exact date. I didn't put the exact date down. Let me see if, give me one moment. Let me see if I can try to. I'm sure it's in the report, on the incident report, but I don't have the exact date. I can't find the exact date. That's the first report, and then obviously it was the second one that you're mentioning in March. I have that. That's the open case.
So you opened a case a day or so before a hearing, but you made an allegation in your February hearing that there was also an open case then. Am I understanding that
Well,
correct?
the incident report, that the number that I just gave you, that's correct. That's the report. The incident report is the number that I just gave to you. That was the first report. The second report is
Okay.
gonna be the open report. If you need that number, I can give you that one as well.
But what happened to the first? What was the outcome of ID number ending in 6129?
So how that works is it takes 9 months to retrieve documentation, okay, for any type of report if it's not through an attorney. It's a very
Okay.
long and strenuous process to get documentation for that.
Okay. And you did that a year ago though, right? So that will fit in within your time frame.
Well, no,
Am I
because we just
understanding it?
started court. We didn't start court until a few months ago. So it wouldn't have been a year ago that I reported that I got all this documentation. It takes 9 months. So they requested it in March. So if it takes 9 months from March, then it would be a while from now. So no, that's not correct,
But
sir.
you're saying that this case, I'm asking for what is the outcome of report number 6129? Is this
And
case closed?
that's an incident report, okay?
Mhm.
And with the incident report, it takes 9 full months to retrieve the report. They're not going to give you over the phone any type of outcome on the phone. The
Objection.
Oh, I understand that.
Okay.
Objection,
I understand
hearsay,
that.
Let
Right.
Ms. Hernandez make her objection.
objection, hearsay, and speculation. Somebody somewhere told her it's 9 months. That's hearsay.
CPS
Sustained.
did.
Okay, to move this along, I think I understand where Mr. Harris is going. Ms. Valero, feel free to interrupt me if I'm going the wrong place here. But I think what he's asking, typically when a CPS does an investigation, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, because I'm not CPS, they mail out something, or at least they used to mail out a resolution, and it had like 3 or 4 options. Did you receive a letter of resolution, ma'am, of any kind? It might not be called that.
Right. I did not receive a letter of resolution. Like when I called to retrieve the document, they said it takes 9 months. So I know right at that point,
Okay. So you did not receive any mail from them. Okay. And Mr. Sykes, you're not on the stand, but I'm just going to quickly ask you a yes, no. Did you receive any document about a resolution?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Harris, you may continue.
Thank you. When you made this contact for this new report, either before March 10th or after March 10th, we're not sure. What number did you contact?
A CPS hotline number.
A hotline number. So were you able to speak to anyone?
I did.
Who was that person and what's their name?
Okay, give me 1 second. I did take notes. Employee number 5349.
So if we will be able to find both report number ID 79526129, as well as get in contact with a CPS worker with the employee ID. You don't know their name, but you have their employee ID number of 5349. Is that your testimony?
That is correct.
Okay. And I want to ask about the children. So from what I understand, he has, according to you, you have not allowed him to see his children since September of 2023.
That is correct.
And not even FaceTime will be appropriate.
That is
according
correct.
to you.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so they can't see their father, but you would like child support.
Oh, so your
Objection.
Sustained.
Withdraw the question. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Hernandez, do you have any further questions of Ms. Sykes?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Valerio, do you have any further questions?
Very few, very, very briefly, just to clarify. Okay. I want to make sure you understand this question because I want it clear for me and for opposing counsel. Is it your testimony that you have made one CPS report with that number you gave us all, or that there are two cases that have been reported?
There's two cases. It's one incident report, okay, according to CPS, and then it's a open case that's ongoing right now.
Okay.
And I can give that report number if needed.
Okay, now, to your knowledge, the initial report, the one that opposing counsel's asking you from with ending in 6129, have you moved since that report happened that a letter could have gone to another address?
Yeah, very possible because I did move. Absolutely.
Okay. Is that something that, given the time, we will attempt to retrieve for the purposes of this court?
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Nothing further, Judge.
Judge, then may I redirect?
You may.
Okay, so now that with that, you said there's an open case. Technically, there's two cases, one ending in 6129, and then another one that was filed or inquired about either on March 10th or a little bit before, and that's open. And I'm assuming this is open because it's the newest. Is that your understanding?
It's open because it's being investigated. They're doing an investigation.
Right. Correct. But you just did this a month ago.
I did it back in March. Yes.
Which is a month ago.
Correct.
Okay. Can I get that number too, please?
Absolutely. So that open case number is 800014858.
800014858.
Yes. And I gave you the employee ID as well. 5349.
So the employee ID, okay. 5349 was the employee that you talked to for that case.
Yes. But there's also a person assigned to the case too. So yes, they have someone assigned to the case.
I'll take that information as well.
Okay. Maybe I have to send it to my attorney and she could send it to you because I have to find it. But they do have someone assigned to it.
Okay. Well, then you've been very helpful with this information. Can I get the employee ID for the 6129?
Let's see if I took it down. I did not take down the employee ID number, but I did take down her name, and her name is Carolyn.
Last name?
I didn't get that, unfortunately.
Oh. Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
And does anyone have any further questions for Ms. Sykes?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and I just want to say, Ms. Fuller, I just want to make sure this is clear. I might have granted an objection, but I didn't mean to grant an objection shutting down the entire line of testimony about her allegations, because that's really what this kind of comes down to. My thought process is there's two issues here. One, he just hasn't seen the kids in a while, and they're both young, and one is autistic, and that just, you just get to know them again, which takes some time, but not the end of the world. People have babysitters all the time who don't know the kids, and life goes on. So, there's some adjustment there. And then the other concern is, did something very bad happen to this child caused by Mr. Sykes? And I'll admit I haven't gotten much on that. And so I just want to make sure I didn't shut that down with an objection that I didn't mean to grant.
Well, Judge,
Mhm.
All right. So I can proceed with that line of questioning. I'm trying to be as, I'm trying to be her advocate.
Yeah.
And as tactful while we're on the internet.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so I'm thinking the next setting we're going to be live for everybody's privacy, because I don't think people are going to line up at the courthouse, even though they could. I know you all wanted some time to get some discovery about these issues, and I'm sure now Mr. Harris wants to do some investigating after today's setting. How much time do you all think you need? And I'll start with Mr. Harris, I guess.
Judge, I'm gonna ask for the shortest reset continuous possible.
Okay.
This has gone on quite some time, and if the information that she gave us is correct, it should be quite relatively easy to get a copies of this.
Ms. Valerio, how much time are you requesting?
The only time, the minimum is discovery period, 60 days, Judge.
And the Attorney General has no dates available in June.
Do we have any in early July-ish?
July
July
you,
7th.
sorry, did you,
July 9th is live. Do we have dates on July 9th?
July
Or
9th?
June 25th is the live date in June. 'Cause we're
June
looking at live
20.
dates.
Oh, live dates, June 25th is live. We only have 7 cases so far. July 9th, we only have 7 cases so far.
And then July 16th isn't that far off from either of those as well.
So, I think June 4th if you want, but, because the live dates are not very busy.
Yeah.
So I have live dates, June 4th, June 25th, and what do we say, July 9th?
July 9th.
I'm available June 25th and July 9th.
I'm available only on June 25th.
Okay, why don't we do June 25th then, for final. And to get some visits going, is there a person both of you trust who can be present during visits with Mr. Sykes?
Your Honor, I think I'd be speaking for both parties. I think it'd be best if we exchange at like a CPS location or police department.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to do the exchange somewhere like that. I'm wondering, and I almost hate that I'm doing this because but if he had some supervised visits to get to know the child and to get to know the proclivities of the child, especially the one who's autistic, I don't know if they use a device, but he might need to get used to things like that. I'm assuming even eating has its own difficulties. If there's somebody that's trusted by both of them who knows the child, so the child would be comfortable.
I trust Reverend Lawson. We both previously worked for him. She worked for him. I worked for him. He's helped her. He's helped, Reverend Edward Lawson.
She's shaking her head no.
So any of I would if a police officer would have to be present. Like I would even feel comfortable like without police presence, like or a sheriff or something. I'm concerned about my security and safety and the kids. So I wouldn't even.
This is unreasonable.
It is, and ma'am, I'm not expecting you to be there at all. I would like
which is even scarier.
Drop off for you. And at a police department or I don't know that CPS has pickup and drop offs, do they, Mr. Harris?
They used to. Because they use them a lot for people who are involved in foster care and to keep them away from the bio parents. So CPS used to do that. I'm pretty sure that they still do. It's at certain locations though. Not all of them do it.
Do you want to Google and find one that might work for the sites?
Yes, I will, Judge.
Okay.
And Your Honor, may I speak, please?
Ms. Valerio, do you want her to speak?
So If she's got something to tell you, Judge, it's on her.
Okay. Ms. Sykes?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, I really don't know what to say, but this is manipulation on the court and the system, and the kids are gonna be razzled, and I don't want to put this emotional stress on my son when he already has a safety net and he's already healthy and he's already getting better and he's being vocal now and he's talking. I don't want to disrupt his happiness right now. He has peace right now. He was in a
Unfortunately,
bad condition. I'm worried about my children's safety. I do not feel safe. I want to do the complete, please, I'm begging you, Your Honor, to do the complete CPS. Let them finish their investigation. It's still open. Because
Objection
I'm
to
worried
the
about my
sidebar.
children.
Objection to the sidebar.
Okay. Mr.
I'm
Sykes,
worried about my kids, Your Honor.
I
I
understand,
am.
ma'am, you've had
Objection.
your chance. Mr. Sykes?
Your Honor. So my last presence with Zion was 3.5 years old. I was the one that Zion, nurtured to, and he really followed my command. She could not really handle Zion with his spectrums. Zion was, I was able to, and I think that he would be further along had I had the opportunity these last almost 2 years to be in his life. He would be further, advanced from whatever condition he's in. So I really believe that I bring that worth and value to my son's life.
Your Honor, I just Googled on, there's a few locations that I have, and this is coming from the AG's office for supervised visitation centers. There's one at the Harris County. There's not going to be ones well, I haven't looked in Galveston yet, but I do know we have some in Harris County. In Galveston, they have the Galveston County Supervised Visitation Program that's listed on the AG's website. If they want to come to Harris County, there's plenty of locations up here as well. It just depends on which one that they want to. But there is a Galveston County Supervised Visitation Program Center that they can take the kids to.
Yeah. And Judge, just to add to that, I also Googled, and there are no actual just exchange locations. There's just supervised programs.
Judge, I was in law
Your
enforcement.
Your Honor, he said that he didn't believe
Objection
Zion
to
was
the
Okay.
sidebar.
You all have
Objection.
attorneys who are going to speak for you, and this is temporary. This is a Band-Aid temporary order. This is not forever. This is to get something started. I understand it's not, neither of you likes it. I get that. And I'll admit, I don't love where this is right now. But this is where we are. And this
But
is the
can I say one
evidence
more
that's been
thing, Your
presented.
Honor?
So, ma'am, no.
Okay.
And Judge, I do have the address for that.
Okay.
It's 205 East Edgewood Drive, Friendswood, Texas, 77546. The telephone number is 281-482-0266.
Okay. Why don't we, hopefully they're still open. Why don't we pause this and let you call them? Because in all my experience, I've never seen anyone use them. And so I hate to send people to something that doesn't
Yes, Your Honor.
exist or that doesn't.
And if Ms. Valerio will be okay with it, I can, once we conclude here, I'll call them, get the details, and then I can send them directly to her, and she can communicate that with her client.
My only concern is I don't know how I can make a ruling without knowing for
Okay,
sure.
well, I can call them now then. If
Yeah.
y'all will,
I just think that way
let me
we'll
stop.
all leave knowing what the expectations are will be better.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Hopefully they're open. Okay.
I'm gonna call CPS back.
Ms. Sykes, just to let you know, I put a message in the chat. It started storming again really badly here, just in case I get disconnected. I'm letting you know. But I'm staying here as long as I can.
And ma'am, just know if you do get disconnected, we'll wait for you. We don't proceed with people who get disconnected. It happens even without bad weather.
So sorry for your parents. They don't deserve it.
We are back on the record in cause number 24 FD 1475. The Sykes case, the original petition and suit affecting the parent-child relationship. All parties are back in the main courtroom, and Mr. Timmy Lundell Sykes and Miss Deshandra Siam Sykes are both under oath still and remain under oath to tell the truth. And Mr. Harris, would you like to begin? Counsel for Mr. Sykes?
Yes, Your Honor. So I reached out to, as we left, I found a venue that was located in Galveston. Come to find out, they called back, said it was sold to a different person, called that person and sent them an email, no response. But me and counsel Valerio did speak, Your Honor, and we're going to, since we were just waiting on emails and callbacks to our voicemails, and it depends on how you want to do this, but her and I would be working together to find a location. I don't think it would take us but a couple of days. So if you just want to put in something temporary while we do that and get back with the court with the location that we both agreed to.
Okay. And just to be clear, this location is for...
So if I may, I think the counsel and I were talking that we think you were headed towards a supervised location. So we both have extensive experience in locating one. And so if the court is going to order supervised visits, then we would agree to a location. We both understand that the parties are either in Galveston or way southeast Harris County. And so we would stick to that geographic area and finding a locate.
Okay, so you're looking for a one of the supervised visitation programs.
Yes, that way the kids can get reacquainted with my client, and then somewhere where it's a neutral drop off and pick up.
And at the same time, safeguards are put in place that, regarding my client's concerns. All the supervised locations we're familiar with are well policed and reviewed.
Right.
So yeah, I will then order that and usually those places have specific times and days that they allow the visitation because they only have so many people there and they have to accommodate everybody. So yes, for a Band-Aid temporary order, for lack of a better word, I will order that Mr. Harris have visitation supervised by a program agreed to by Mr. Harris and Ms. Valerio. And it will be in accordance with the parameters of that program. And then we're going to reset the case for a live date on June 25th, 2025.
And Judge, would you like us to email you once we get the location and time? And would you like us to email it and include your court coordinator, or how would you like for us to do that?
Do y'all want to circulate like a small order, and then that can be e-filed?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. And if it doesn't work out and you can't agree, hopefully you can, someone can always file something and ask for a setting. Usually the AG sets the cases. So if you reach out to them, they could set it. If you reach out to my coordinator, she can try to get it set. But hopefully it won't come to that. But if you need to, reach out to either the AG or my coordinator to get another setting if we need to.
And
Will
Jen,
do.
for the live reset date of June 25th, is there a specific time?
Oh, 8:30. They
8:30.
start at 8:30. Ms. Hernandez, you're on mute. I think you're speaking to us.
Did you want me to circulate a reset order for the in-person of 6:25? And then if either one of you need a setting, just call or email the office with my name and
Okay.
then I'll just go through all the dates and we'll just put I guess an entry date or something. But so I'll do the reset for that June date in person, and then I'll let the private attorney circulate something regarding the visitation.
Do you want to put in your reset order that I'm ordering that Mr. Sykes have visitation through, probably a better word than what I'm calling it, a supervised visitation program, and the attorneys are working on it together, or so something, so it's,
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And all other issues remain in effect, right? As far as like payment of child support, medical support.
Okay. Everything else remains in full force and effect from the prior temporary order.
Okay.
Both prior temporary orders, because the first one I think just established.
All righty. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for working
Thank
that out.
you.
Thank you.
May the parties be excused, or do they want to speak to their clients?
We can talk.
I'll talk to mine off. I'll talk mine off the
Yeah.
off Zoom.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone shall be excused. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
At the heart of this case was supposed to be two little boys, not a woman's bruised ego. When you actually listened to her, she kept shifting the story back to her real grievance. He left her, and the court shamefully allowed her emotional manipulations to stand in for actual proof. What does it say about a mother who's willing to burn it all down because she couldn't handle rejection? And what does it say about a judge who handed her the matches? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gripping courtroom moments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.